the policies and curriculum of the institution that you work at, because that information is really critical to being able to advise students well. And two of our interviewees work with specific populations of students, so Christine with ESOL students and Gretchen with non-traditional students, and they both share that having that area of expertise helped them get their positions. So there are people here who thought they wanted to get into academic advising, just being able to show that, hey, maybe I can work really well with students who are of this demographic or who are interested in this subject area could be a helpful way to get a position. And then just for like populations that were left out, we did try to conduct interviews in a wide range of institutions. We did not do an interview at a large public. And we also acknowledged that all of our interviewees were Caucasian women. And then just acknowledging the fact that if that is a trend in academic advising, it could cause students from traditionally underrepresented backgrounds or students who are new immigrants to the U.S. who are entering into higher education, make them feel uncomfortable seeking guidance from academic advising departments. And I can share a very, very, very quick little story about that. When I went to the U, it's huge. And you can be advised through like your college, or you could choose to be advised through the Multicultural Center. And I actually chose to be advised through the Multicultural Center with an advisor who was like the CLA advisor for the Multicultural Center, because that was the person I saw when I went to orientation, and that was the person who like made sense to me to be my academic advisor. So that's who I chose, as opposed to doing just an advisor through the Multicultural Center.
I also have a quick go back, just another interesting thing I found out that I've never thought about. Concordia just recently switched back to having their non-traditional and adult students advised on campus. It was previously outsourced to a third party, which is not something that I've been exposed to before. So it was actually kind of an online communication piece, and the company was actually not in Minnesota. So that's just showing there's so many different ways that institutions go about advising their students. So I just wanted to point that out.
And so now we've got a discussion for you guys, and actually we've got, so I've got one of my good friends, actually, I served with her in AmeriCorps, and she's an academic advisor. She helped me connect with Christine, and I was asking her things about her job, and she was like, you know, Crystal, I go through a lot of Post-it notes. I don't know why, maybe she just does. So for anyone who wants to read the scenario, we have a Post-it note for you. Who
would like to read?
Justine.
Come on up.
Oh.
Georgia is a sophomore and is having a bad semester. She is now on academic probation, and before she can register for courses, she must meet with her academic advisor. When Georgia arrives, her advisor greets her with a stern look and says, "You're in a bad place right now. If you do not get back on track, you will be dismissed from the university." The student explains that she got involved in some social groups and activities and overextended herself at the cost of her studies. The advisor replies, "You can't continue doing all these activities and expect to get your grades up." After hearing this lecture, Georgia says, "Don't I need you to sign something so I can register for classes?" The advisor signs off, and the student leaves the office. Georgia does not seek any further advisement than what is required. Do you want me to read the question?
Sure, yeah.
What is problematic about this discussion? What does this interaction tell us about the advisor/student relationship? How can this scenario be improved to foster a positive advisor-student relationship?
So I think just while you're at your tables, maybe just turn to each other.
Can I, in the spirit of time, can we just keep it large group?
Oh, yeah,
Have
yeah,
people
yeah.
throw it out. Okay, just
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we have candy too, because we've been eating this back there, so we should probably give it away.
I would say the first issue is how the advisors are doing, like address the student by saying you're in a bad place right now. That's probably the worst way you can start a conversation with the student, especially in this situation.
Right, so you want to be normalizing things and getting to know them and building that rapport. Go ahead, Mina.
The advisor would make an action plan for the student, so she said she's in a bad place, but she didn't give her examples of what she could start doing, or like follow up and make sure that she's going to follow up with the student.
Exactly. Great job.
I think threatening the student is going to backfire. Telling them that they'll be dismissed from the university as one of the first encounters they have with their advisor is highly negative. And
Maybe we'll take one more.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
do
we'll take one
questions.
more.
I think that she should have, the advisor should have given her more ideas because we want them to be involved on campus and in activities.
to help her with doing like a timeline for balancing all of, like when she's gonna study, when she's gonna work, when she's gonna do activities, stuff like that. Like, have a schedule for her, help her find out, do that, plan that.
Or like being understanding, saying, hey, you're really busy, how can we figure this out, and encourage them to come back.
Great. So I think now we'll just open it up for any questions that you guys may have.
We have about a minute, so.
A minute.
One or two.
Yeah.
So did the folks that you talked with talk at all about professional versus faculty advisors and how that works in the different colleges?
So I mentioned the one that Emily had the dual advising, so first they come to her and she do the careers background, it's more big picture, and then for things that are more related to that specific field that she can't necessarily answer, then they have to go through the faculty advisor. She said it's unique at St. Thomas in the business school that they have such a good relationship with the faculty there, and that other schools you may not see that. It might be more of a, traditional student affairs.
My interview actually didn't mention anything about that. I think that PE works a lot more closely with the academic side of just the institution in general, but she didn't really talk about that much. Question?
Well done.
Oh,
Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, you said one of the people had like 600 students, so does that mean that they're only seeing them like once or twice a year?
Yeah, absolutely. So it kind of depends, and that was Emily again at St. Thomas, and she said that they need more advisors, and it's typically more about like 300 or less. But again, that